Hello everyone, Warren here again with the Peach State Prime Transformers channel. Thank you for watching this video. As everybody knows, of course, recently went to Toylanta, have coverage of that on both channels, Peach State Prime and Peach State Prime Transformers. And in the video covering that, I revealed that one of the things I got in my haul was the Blokees clear Unicron head. And so I figured, Blokees are simple enough that we should build this together on camera. And so we're going to go through, build it, and then we'll do a kind of a mini review, and we'll compare it to a few other pieces of Unicron merchandise. And, and we'll see how it stacks up. So stick around, and let's build Unicron. Alright, so of course we're going to start with the box. Unicron has a nice big representation on there with his severed head. You have what is presumably the Ark. However, going with the Transformers the movie theme of this wave of figures, when, the version that comes blind box, I'm going to just say that's one of the Autobot shuttles. Over on the other side, you get, a couple different views, side view, rear view, profile view. And again, I only paid $5 for this. I believe that's how much it is most places. Fairly inexpensive, between, usually $5, $10. Let's see, we do have a nice bio on here. It says, Unicron is a primordial deity transcending time, space, and dimensions. The embodiment of darkness, chaos, and destruction. As the Lord of Chaos and the incarnation of annihilation, he symbolizes the ultimate force of entropy and disorder. He stands as the eternal arch-nemesis of Primus, the creator of the Transformers, who represents right, order, and creation. And attributes, function, Lord of Chaos, key traits, darkness, chaos, destruction. So a lot of alliteration going on there. And what's interesting is they've gone with, very much the modern and comic book version of Unicron versus, the necessarily the one from the movie, who in the, G1 animated universe was created by Primacron, that little shrimp guy, which, that's how it's presented in the show. A lot of fan theories say, oh, he just awakened him, but, but nevertheless, Unicron is Unicron, and, he's usually viewed as that chaotic threat. So we're going to open him up here. It's a shame I can't do this without making less of a mess. I mean, I guess I could have used a box cutter to cut the actual cardboard, but don't know if I'm going to keep this little box anyways. Can't keep them all. Alright, so we got, everything is still kind of blind bagged, even though you know who you got in here. Let's see. No card? Maybe it's in there. Alright, so we got our, what I presume to be our instructions here. Alright, so, yeah, it says Galaxy version, and of course has that same artwork on it. And yeah, it does have our unique artwork, or not artwork, excuse me, instructions, specifically to Unicron. The early Blokees, they were kind of universal with a few, differences here and there for the accessories. And it's kind of nice. The, diagrams in here even show this in clear plastic. And I personally do not have the, the opaque version. However, I do have one to compare it to when we're done. So it's neat that they even made these unique to this set. So let's finish opening up our bags here. Alright, and of course this is the stand. Okay, here's our card. Ooh, it's a pretty one. So you can see it's, well, camera focus there. Nice and shiny. Definitely, you know, again, the clear version. And, you know, you got this QR code on the back. Unicron head. Now, of course, in the latest Blokees set, they do have Unicron in his planet mode. So I guess, you know, they do need to differentiate there. Which, that would be kind of cool to get to. I think they have, and I'd have to fact check this, because, again, that set's newer. I'm fairly certain you can purchase that one separately, too. Possibly in a clear version. Now, I personally do have an idea for Blokees, and we'll talk about that when we get into the review at the end here. As far as what I personally want to see them do next. Alright. Like these little green pieces. Okay, there we go. I assume those are his eyes. Of course, if you remember, what is it, Starscream's ghost? Those green eyes really played a big role in that episode. Okay, let's back it up here just a little bit. Okay, we got our pile of pieces here. Camera focus. Okay. All right. Move these instructions off screen here. All right. So gotta find. Okay, this looks like this is part of the first step, and then is it this piece? It sure is. Okay, so they want me to plug this in. Yep, like this. There we go. Step 1 complete. Now, see, what's funny is, you know, whenever I, you know, transform or a new transformer or build a Blokie, I usually try to end with the head because, you know, that's like the ultimate identifier of the character. And it's funny because all there is the head here. All right, we got his, what I'll call his collar. All right, moving right along there. Oh, looks like we need his eyes now. Where are those two little green? There they are. So I guess this is, in essence, Unicron's skull right here. I guess it would make sense. You would start with the skull of any robotic or organic creature first if you're building its head. Then we got... My goodness, there's all these pieces looking so similar here. Okay, I think it's this here. This it, his beard? Okay, yeah, they want us to take his beard and really his skull. I mean, look at this thing. Holy cow, it's creepy. Okay, and then they want us to snap it on. Yeah, really got to call. Okay. As what was it, Ultra Magnus said in a movie, playtime's over. Okay, and this is supposed to snap on. Just gotta align it, I guess. I guess we're going into his nose there. Yep. Oh, now that's really spooky. Okay, too much fun here. Then we need this piece here, which I believe is the back of his head. And we're going to put it, presumably, on the back of his head. Yep. Okay, just got to find the pegs to align it. Oh, that's not quite aligned. Oh, okay. We are going... Well, how do they expect you to get to that there? Unless I didn't do this backwards, did I? See? I was having too much fun not paying attention. Okay, so this is actually the part that they want here. All right, and then this is actually the back of his head. Yeah, that makes so much more sense. You know, it kind of reminds me, if you remember Beast Wars, the Vok, or Vok, V-O-K. Yeah, that kind of reminds me of them. All right, then we need the sides of his head, which I believe are these round pieces. And I could see all sorts of, you know, customs being done with this thing. All right, do I have this thing right or no? Let's try it over here. I think the clear plastic makes it a little bit difficult to really tell if you're putting it in the right place. Okay, there we go. And one thing I've learned is, you know, while I do like intuitive Transformers where you don't necessarily have to use the instructions, like the Days of G1 Blokees, I recommend using the instructions, because what's really annoying is when you inadvertently skip a step and you have to take half the thing apart. Not that it's that hard, but still an extra step you have to take. All right, so we got the top of his head. And now, okay, we want the outer beard to go on. I guess this is the inner beard. All right. So let's have him grow some facial hair here. All right, there we go. This is coming along really fast here. Okay, and they want us to take this outer face now, you know, so we can't see his skull anymore. That's creepy, too. I could see this. Okay, everybody's been trying to make Unicron faction symbols. Kind of like that. Anyway, so we put, okay, we have his inner eyes. That's what I'll call them, inner eyes in there. And then we got to put, I guess this is like the glass coverings, like how, whoops, how, you know, they crashed in and out of them in the movie. And, okay, we got to figure out which side is which. And again, Blokees, you know, they're pretty easy to put together. Sometimes you kind of got to interpret what the instructions are telling you to do. It's like, oh yeah, this goes here. Okay. This part's a little tricky. Because you would think the eyes would go in like that. Okay, that looks like that would line up with that hole. But it doesn't want to go in. Okay, maybe it goes on this side. Oh, wait, okay, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm seeing a little tab. Again, I think the clear plastic is making this hard to see. Not that it doesn't look cool. All right, how's that look from the front? That looks like a, yeah, classic Unicron eye. I mean, a little gap there, but I think that'll work itself out when we do the final assembly. All right, let's see if we can work with this other one to go in. You know, maybe the problem is these are actually, you know, Metroplexes and, and who's Triptychon's eye? Oh, okay. They need to push in a little more. Gotcha. There we go. All right, and then this goes over his skull. Goodbye, Mr. Skullface, or Mr. Skullhead. They call him Mr. Skullhead. Okay, anyways. And we need these other little side pieces, I guess, you know, kind of near his cheeks. And these will go, again, it's hard to see the little slots. Oh, maybe the other side. Yeah, that looks, yeah, there we go. Okay. Just had to push a little bit and found it. Okay. So, now we just got to put his horns in. Which, these are going to snap together. You got total of 4 halves, but of course they're going to snap together. And it's kind of obvious which ones go together. And if you've never done a Blokees figure before, don't let that initial piece count scare you. It goes by fast, and everything has its place. I mean, sometimes you purposely have extra pieces, but, you know, they do have things you can store them in, or just have a little case. So, these are going to plug in the side here, just like so. And there we have Unicron. He can open his mouth really wide there. And then they do give you the pieces for a stand. And we are going to do that. Let's see. Believe it goes like this. And then there's this little port. I mean, there's no mistaking that's where that's going to connect. All right. And then they do give you a little accessory to go with it. As the box art shows, one of the Autobot shuttles, they do in fact give you an Autobot shuttle. Which, yeah, when you look at the design of this thing a little bit more closely, that is definitely one of the shuttles versus the Ark. You know, the Ark, it's a little different in shape and design. So, definitely one of the shuttles. So, that's a nice little set. Again, only paid $5 for it. Again, I mean, you can usually find it, I'm sure, between $5 and $10 at most toy and hobby stores. So, not bad. And it's nice that you can open and close his mouth. I mean, depending on the fiction, you know, Unicron does or does not move his mouth. But you can still add some nice expressions there. As far as comparing this clear edition Unicron head, my son Landon was fortunate enough, and in one of the Galaxy class blind boxes, he was able to pull the opaque version, or just call it the non-clear version. And I could definitely see where this one was probably easier to build. But it is rather neat. I mean, I like both of them. This one, of course, gives you more screen-accurate detail. This one's more, again, kind of has that premium look, that, you know, kind of spectral, ghost-looking version. You see how he's picking up the light in the room, and there's not that much light in this room. And then that one also comes with its, you know, little Autobot shuttle. Of course, you know, the fit with the, you know, the rest of the mold, it is opaque, whereas, of course, this one, you know, is clear. So, a very, you know, screen-accurate look, you know, when it comes to Unicron. Couple other, you know, examples I'm going to show. And, of course, it's not the exact same version of Unicron, but, you know, a fun comparison nonetheless. We do have... This is from Cybertron, a Transformer Cybertron. If you got the edition of Primus, which I believe was a Toys R Us exclusive, you got the severed Unicron head where you see, you know, there's his skull again. And, you know, it's like Primus ripped Unicron's head off. You know, you have the broken horns there. And, you know, as far as how this compares to both of these, it's roughly about the same size, that the headpiece that is. But, of course, this is more based off of Armada Unicron, which, you know, did have a little bit of its own look to him. But, you know, interesting comparison. And if you have this at home and are thinking about trying for either one of these two, of course, this one being a sure thing, yeah, I'd say it's roughly about that size. Speaking of Armada Unicron, okay, gotta figure out how I'm gonna do this. How about I lift the camera? And so we do have Armada Unicron here. Whoops. And, of course, you know, the details on his face were never 100%, you know, G1 accurate. He kind of had his own, you know, own look about him. You know, his eyes do flash. And as you can see, the severed head version, although bigger, is clearly based on this Unicron here. With some color changes, you know, because, again, the head is severed. But, you know, we take this clear Unicron head and compare it, you know. Now, this head is bigger, the Blokees head. You know, and again, is a whole lot better in terms of G1 accuracy. But again, Armada was kind of going for its own thing, but, you know, just for a look there. Alright, and I did want to give you a comparison to a standard, you know, Galaxy class size Blokie. So I have Hot Rod here, who's from the same series that you can, you know, pull the opaque version of the Unicron head. You know, it stands roughly about the same size. I mean, the horns do make Unicron's head a bit taller. And of course, you know, they don't do the stands anymore. Instead, they've gone more out with the accessories with, you know, Hot Rod with his ever-popular fishing rod and fishing rod, hot rod, haha. Anyways, and on the end, you do have a little Sharkticon that he's caught. Just a fun little nod, even though it didn't, that event didn't occur in the movie or show. But again, so that's just to give you a rough size comparison. Alright, so that is going to complete our construction and comparison of, you know, the clear, non-blind box Galaxy edition, Unicron, G1 Unicron head. I like this thing. I think it looks great. You know, there are some things to be said about, you know, having the opaque version, you know, if you really want that screen accuracy. However, this makes a nice, you know, kind of, like I said, Spectral or Ghost edition, special edition to your shelf. So, you know, I'd still like to have one of these. Again, this is my son's. But, you know, for the time being, I like this. You know, for $5, you can't go wrong. And again, I'd even would have paid $10, have been very happy with this. You get the build experience, and then, of course, you know, you have something cool to put on your shelf. Outside of that, Blokees, here's what I want. You've done very well with multiple size classes, and hopefully, you know, Blokees, maybe you're watching, maybe you're not, but everybody else help me spread the word. Here's what I really want, and you know where I'm going. They've done the Defender class, the little tiny characters. They've done the blind, those are blind box. They've done the Defender series, excuse me. They've done the Galaxy series, which is this size, also blind box. They've done the, oh goodness, I forget. But then there's the next step up, and then there's the Action Edition, where you have like a lot of your Transformer 1 characters, like Optimus, Megatron, so on and so forth. Then you got your Action Edition, which for between 40 and 50 bucks usually, those things knock it out of the park. Light sounds on Soundwave, multiple characters. So they build these things affordably. Blokees, give us a full-size Unicron. You got the detail down. You've done the planet mode. You've done the head. Give us something like, we've seen what you can do, again, at that Action Edition price point. How many pieces those are, the accessories. If you were to charge, let's say, $60 or even on up for a massive, massive Unicron that you build, I'd be first in line to buy that thing. You know, I could even see it with as big as Blokees can make these for the prices they're charging already. Let's say they went bonkers and made a $100 Blokees set. That thing may even outscale HasLab Unicron. Now, of course, this being Blokees, we wouldn't be seeing something that could transform. But, you know, for it being the 40th anniversary of the movie, it's on Hasbro's radar. Obviously, it's on Blokees' radar because these came out late 2025 and continuing on into 2026. You know, let's have a giant Unicron Blokees figure. That would be awesome. But if not, these are great for now. And again, are really fun on a shelf. You know, you have kind of a, you know, even if you're not looking at season 3, you know, it's neat saying, okay, it's almost like a bust or a statue, like, you know, in honor of the you know, being of chaos. And then, of course, you know, the planet mode is, you know, you have the small planet mode as well. But, heck, I'd love a giant version of that, too. Give us a inflated beach ball, or something the size of an inflated beach ball, and, you know, again, we've all seen what Blokees can do on, you know, again, being budget friendly. So love to see it. But specifically into this, again, you can't go wrong for the price point. The detail is just amazing. And it's a fun little build. I mean, what, maybe 5 to 7 minutes? It's fun, you know. It gets you to be a little bit creative, a little bit, you know, using your motor skills, you know, outside of transforming figures. So, you know, I definitely give this high marks, and, you know, especially with as eerie as it was looking earlier. And speaking of eerie, you know what? Let's see what this thing looks like with a flashlight behind it. Be right back. Alright, so I do have some windows in here, but I do have all the lights off. And you can kind of see, try not to blind everybody out there, just how cool that looks. Especially, like, look at his teeth. It's almost like an X-ray of Unicron. That is really cool. And of course, you know, if you have a way to, you know, put a light up underneath him on your shelf, you know, that's kind of cool. But you can just see, okay, that looks cool there. Just how the color travels through him. Yep. So again, can't go wrong. Anyways, if you can still see me, I want to thank you very much for watching this video, and I want to invite you to leave a comment in the comment section. What would you think of, again, Blokees doing a giant $60 to $100 Unicron, either in robot mode and or planet mode? Share your thoughts. What do you think of this Blokees figure? Do you like the opaque or clear version better? Again, sound off there. I also invite you to like this video if you enjoyed it. And, of course, subscribe to the channel, Peach State Prime Transformers, for more of this type of content. You know, reviews, building Blokees, events. Just had our coverage on, again, Toylanta, where I picked this Blokees figure up. subscribe to be alerted of all that. And of course, there's also my original channel, simply just called Peach State Prime, where I have a lot of fun event coverage, different attractions, unique shops and restaurants, including collectible shops and all sorts of nerdy stuff. And just some simple park videos too, if you need to relax. You can find all that there. But until next time, again, thank you for your time today. Have a great day, and God bless. See you next time.